So as you can see, we're filling the water right until it creeps into the opening here. You could fill it all the way up to the top if you wanted. It's going to give you a little bit more yield in your tub and your production. However, it is going to dilute the product a little bit. So whatever you're comfortable with, there's really no, you don't have to measure the water. I'm comfortable with putting it right about to here. You are going to grow a little bit, but I think that gives us a good yield in our tub and it gives it a good finished quality product.
Again, if you put more water in, it takes away from the taste of the product.
Yeah. So we're all filled up here and we're ready to start our production. So Angela's going to turn our timer on. We're going to run it for about, we'll put it on for about 16 minutes. It's a warm barrel on this first tub, so it might take a little bit longer. As you get rolling, the times might go down. We're going to actually look at the viscosity as it goes up. We're not going to set it for this batch, but if I wanted to set it, and let's say I've ran lemon before, and I know lemon comes out good at 23, I could go to my set. I'm going to set it at 23. Oh, but next time I'm making my Granny Smith apple, I need that at 25. Okay, well, we're going to go to our viscosity, set it at 25, and the machine will cut off there. So it's a nice feature to take some of the guesswork out of production. But we're actually going to just monitor the viscosity on this. So we're all in. We have two switches on this machine. We have a dasher switch, which will operate the dasher and get it moving. And then we have a refrigeration switch, which will turn the compressor on. When the compressor comes on, our light's going to come on. That tells us that we're refrigerating product. Okay, so go ahead, Ange, let's get it started. We'll start our timer. Once you see it hit run, it's ready to go. It's timing down. Our light's on. That means we're refrigerating. And you can see our viscosity right now is a 5. Our RPM is about 228. That's the highest RPM we can go. That's ideal for making Italian ice. Okay? So now we're going to wait. If we had a very complicated recipe and we're adding things and we wanted to mix it a little bit, 20, 30 seconds before we turn the refrigeration on, these switches are independent of each other. So we could just run the dasher, let it mix, let the machine turn, and then we could turn the refrigeration on. A lot of people, when they're making lemon, you can add some lemon zest, you can add lemon rinds. Some of that stuff you can put in the machine. That's fine. Some of the stuff you might want to put in as what we call post-draw. Means is when the product's coming out, we can add some of these things so they're not getting grinded up in the machine. They're more visible and they're more there for texture than flavor sometimes. So like when I make mint chocolate chip ice, I might use a mint ice and I might use really small chocolate chips. Well, I put those chocolate chips in at the end and kind of pump them in and fold them in as the water ice is coming out so the chips are whole and they're not getting grinded up in the machine. It also makes it so I don't have to clean the machine as often or rinse the machine as often in between to get those chocolate pieces or whatever you're adding out. So a lot of the things that you might taste in water ice, I have water ice with fresh fruit in it. I have water ice with chocolate chips or lemon rinds or lemon zest. A lot of that stuff's done after the product comes out, believe it or not. So talk a little about this switch. We have two settings here. We have set and actual. Right now, I'm down to actual. So this is just reading the viscosity. It's not going to turn it off at any viscosity setting that I set. If I go to set, okay, and I'd say I set my viscosity at 22, 23, it's going to, the compressor is going to shut off at that viscosity. It means you want this product to get to a 23 viscosity setting and then we're done. So that's what's going to work off. If I'm on actual, okay, it's not going to do that. It's going to run until we shut it off. So what's the right viscosity setting for which flavor? There's a lot of variables that go into that. So you're going to have to almost develop your recipes, make some of this product, get your viscosity settings, and then use it in your operations when you're making product once they're set. So lemon's cooking right now. A lot of the time when I'm making a batch and I have daily production, what we'll do is, all right, lemon's baking, let's put together our next flavor. And we already did that. That's how fast we are. We already put together our Granny Smith apple. We have it ready. Actually, we made this last night and I put it in the fridge. This way we have a cold product that we could put in there. You could do that. You could pre-make some of your initial solutions, put them in the refrigerator, get them cold, and then add it to the machine. Or you could make it kind of as you're going through your daily production.
With having a chilled product, it'll save you on batch time.
Yeah. The colder the product that's in there to start, the less the hard the machine has to work to get it down to temperature. Now we talked a little bit about Italian ice and the differences. And again, it's water, sugar, stabilizer, flavor, maybe some citric acid. So there's not many ingredients, right? But yet, everybody's water ice tastes different. And I have a lot of people come to me and they'll say, you know, Rob, how can I make a better water ice if there's not that many ingredients? Well, I equate it to pizza, okay? There's thousands and thousands of pizza shops throughout the country. I mean, in my town alone, there's probably 20 pizza shops, and they all have different pizza. Yet, it's dough, sauce, and cheese. Maybe some seasonings. How's everybody's pizza different? Well, it's how much cheese, how much sauce, what the flavoring is, what kind of dough they use, the temperature that they cook it at, the temperature they take it out at. You know, it's how they knead the dough. That's the same thing with water ice and Italian ice. Okay, what temperature do we want to serve it at? What's the consistency? How much flavor am I using? How much sugar am I using? Okay, there's a difference between a pound, which is 16 ounces, and 20 ounces. All right, there's a difference between serving my ice at 21, 22 degrees and serving it at 15, 16 degrees. Right? How long am I keeping it for? You know, what kind of cup am I serving it in? All these factors will have a huge impact on the ice that the customer's eating. So you got to take that into consideration. It's not just blindly be a robot and put these things together and that's it, and be copycat. You can make small, subtle changes to your recipe, to your flavors, how long you're cooking it, to what you're serving it at, to what you're adding to it, and that's going to make a huge difference in the product. You know, we plead innovation. A lot of our videos are about innovation and thinking ahead and what else can you do. And with Italian ice, there's not that many ingredients, but there's still some innovation you can make. You know, people say, well, I can't get this in a base. I can't get this in a flavor. Well, you can combine things. You know, a long time ago, somebody put Oreo cookies in vanilla ice cream. You insane? That makes no sense. Well, now it's the number 3 best-selling ice cream in the country with cookies and cream ice cream. So don't think that there's not anything you could do because water ice is so simple. We don't want to take the simplicity out of the operations and the design and building of the product, but we want to use innovation to separate us from our competition and to serve maybe an ice that nobody's thought of. So Ange, a lot of times people ask me, at what temperature should I serve my Italian ice?
Italian ice can be served at 7 to 8 degrees to 20 to 23 degrees.
Okay, and what's the difference between a warmer ice and a colder ice, like in the eating experience, I guess, for the customer?
A warmer ice, when you have a warmer ice, it doesn't freeze your taste buds, so you get more of the taste of the product, the flavor.
The flavor pops through, yeah. Now the colder ice, we have to use a different recipe. Like if you have a hard ice cream cabinet and you want to serve ice in the same cabinet as your hard ice cream, which might be 8 degrees, you have to use a different type of recipe. We need different types of stabilizers so it's still like scoopable at 8 degrees. You know, if we try to serve the 22 degree ice in 8 degrees, it'll be a rock. And if we do vice versa, it'll be soup. So, you know, we have to have the right recipe for the right temperature.
Now, when you do keep the ice at the warmer temperature so it hits the taste buds, brings out the flavor, it does need a little more TLC because the separation will happen faster.
Yeah.
Which is where pumping the product, keeping the flavor in and helping out with the separation.
Yeah, we try to, we have a pump that we use for our customers that are serving that warmer ice, and what that does, it kind of takes the separation that might be at the bottom and it reincorporates it with the ice. So yeah, we can serve a warmer temperature ice, which is great because it's flavorful and it's warmer, but it also, we have to be cognizant that, you know, there's going to be faster separation. And the shelf life on that ice might not be as long. You know, we might have a 2-3 day shelf life on an ice like that versus that 8 degree, 10 degree ice could be 4, 5, 6 days, okay? I always say, look, if you got a tub of ice and it takes 15 minutes to make and you haven't sold it in 6 days, maybe we got some bigger problems. You know, maybe we have some bigger issues to address. But the freshness of ice is key. You know, you've had ice that's old and over frozen, and what's it like?
It's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, it's very icy. The flavor's not there. Italian ice and water ice is great because it's consistent, right? It's not like an icy where you take that first sip and all the juice comes out, and next thing you know, you just got a big bowl of ice, or a snow cone where all the flavors kind of drizzling through the bottom and you got ice chunks and then you got flavor chunks. Italian ice is just consistently a wonderful experience, and it's flavorful and it's sweet, or sour depending on the flavor. So that's what we want to maintain. We want to maintain that juice in those flavor crystals all throughout.